back to Stories for Shabbos. About 17 years ago, I think, I took one of the most amazing experiences that I've had in my whole life. I went with a group called Heritage to visit Poland and see some really sad places where many Jews were killed in the Holocaust in cemeteries, and some really amazing and even happy places where Jews learned and davened, and where there were very special people who spent many, many years doing amazing things there. And one of the most special places that we visited was the Beis Medrash in Gur, which was the Beis Medrash of the Sfas Emes, Rav Yehuda Aryeh Leib Alter, one of the greatest Hasidic leaders in the 1800s before the Holocaust, who built the biggest dynasty and group, the biggest sect of Hasidim, Ger Hasidus. And tonight is the yahrzeit of the great Sfas Emes. So I want to tell you a very short but amazing story about the amazing Sfas Emes. He had two sons. I'm not sure if he had more than two sons, but this is a story about two of his sons. One of them's name was Avraham Mordechai. He eventually took over for the Sfas Emes as the next Ger Rebbe, and he's called the Imre Emes. And he had another son, who I'm sure was also an amazing and great person, whose name was Moshe Betzalel. One day, the Sfas Emes sent his two sons with another relative to Warsaw. Warsaw was one of the big cities in Poland. It was not too far, but not too close. It was a little bit of a trip. And he sent his relative with his two sons to go find a particular man. He told them his name. I don't know what it was for the story, but he told them his name to get a bracha from this man. Avi, come here. To go get a bracha from this man. So they assumed, if our father, the Sfas Emes, is sending us to go get a bracha from someone, he must be a very special person. He must be a great tzaddik. He must be a famous rabbi. He must be a Rosh Yeshiva. Everybody's going to know who he is. So they got to Warsaw. And they asked some people, do you know where a certain person is? Do you know where we could find, what do you think his name was? Do you know where we could find Reuven or Shalom, or probably not Bob, but maybe Bob? Do you know where we could find this person? Because we're here to visit him. And guess what they found out? Nobody even knew who he was. And they were like, huh? Our father, the Sfas Emes, sent us all the way to Warsaw to meet this person and to get a bracha. We assumed he was like the Rav of the city, or the Rosh Yeshiva, or some famous man. Nobody knew who he was. So they started asking around, have you heard of this man? Do you know who this man is? Finally, they found someone who knew the name and said, oh yeah, I think he lives on this street at this address. You can go knock on his door. Sure. So they went to his house. It was a very small house. Didn't look like he had so much money. It wasn't so well kept. They knocked on the door, and a very simple, regular old man opened the door, and they said, we were sent here by the Sfas Emes to get a bracha from you. And he said, you were sent by the who to get a what? I don't think he said it in those exact words, but the Sfas Emes sent you to me? I'm just a regular, simple man. Why would he send you to get a bracha from me? So they said, I don't know, but he sent us to you, and he's the Sfas Emes. So, and the man said, well, who am I to disobey the Sfas Emes? And he gave them a very sweet bracha that they should be successful, and they should learn, and they should be happy, and they should be healthy. And then they went home. And they were wondering, why did our father, the great Sfas Emes, send us this man? So when they got home, they finally said to him, Tati, what was so special? He was just a regular man. We could barely even find him. Nobody knew who he was. Why did we have to go all the way there to get a bracha from him? And the Sfas Emes told them that years earlier, this man had a baby boy. And he was making a bris for his son. He got a mole to do the bris. And he wanted to make a little suda. Like, you know, usually we have like bagels and lox or whatever, something so that we can celebrate and have a sudas mitzvah for the bris. But he had no money. Nothing. No extra rubles to pay for a suda for his son's bris. So guess what he did? He really wanted to celebrate this mitzvah. He really wanted to share it with other people. He really wanted to do it the right way. So he sold his sheets. He sold his linens. He sold the only pair of sheets for his bed so that he could make a bris for his son. He slept on, I don't even want to say it, I guess a dirty bed. It wasn't so clean. It wasn't so comfortable. He decided it was more important that he honor the mitzvah, that he honor his son, and that he share it with the tzibor. So he sold his sheets to make a bris. And the Sfas Emes, who was, you know, an amazing person who had special insights that we don't understand, said at that moment I saw something, I understood something, I had some vision or understanding that this man and the small little tiny mitzvah that he did of making a bris for his son, of making a suda, was a huge mitzvah that changed the world. That he was willing to sacrifice his own sheets so that he could make a proper bris. And at that moment I saw that he had a special koach, he had a special power to give a bracha for success. That's why you had to go to that simple little man. Because sometimes when we think of who should we go to for a bracha, or who should daven for us, or who's just the most special people, we think of the people that we know and the people who are the most famous or the most well-known or have the most prestigious positions. And sometimes we learn from the story that's not how it is. The simple, tiniest little people who maybe do one little mitzvah, but they do it with their whole heart, or they sacrifice so much, or they do it with so much feeling. Just a simple little person who maybe most people don't even know who he or she is. They could do a mitzvah. They could be a person that could change the whole world. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.